one of the main reasons that Four Sons probably won the photoplay Medal of Honor is because it was an enormous hit. It was the most successful movie that Ford directed since The Iron Horse, and a big, big box office success for the Fox Film Corporation. So that's probably has something to do with it. People really relate to it too. I mean, even now, I think people really relate to the movie. It's a sort of a Saving Private Ryan for its time. I do think that Four Sons really holds up as a movie. The contemporary reviews of the movie even pointed out the fact that it had this kind of more subtle acting style than was kind of common at that time. Whether this was the influence of Murnau or what is unclear. But I think that because the performances are a lot more subtle and a lot less sort of over-the-top, overwrought, silent film-style acting, it's kind of makes the film more accessible to modern audiences, maybe. I think it seems to play really well, I've noticed. Whenever we've run it with or without the score, it seems to really resonate. With Four Sons, we had a really interesting question, because Four Sons was a film that was released right during the transition from silent to sound pictures at Fox. So it was originally shot and conceived and shot as a full silent aperture release picture, and then Movietone came along and they recorded a Movietone track. So when the movie was released domestically, it was cropped on the left side to incorporate this new Movietone soundtrack. Internationally, it was released full silent aperture. So when we went to preserve the picture, well, which version is the right version? Editorially, they're the same, but composition-wise, they're slightly different. So what we decided to do was do both versions, the Movietone version from material at the Museum of Modern Art, and the silent version, in collaboration with the Academy Film Archive, came from the Czech Film Archive. So we have two versions of the movie. Now, another huge issue with preserving silent films is that they would have multiple negatives. There weren't intermediates then, so there would be an A, a B, and sometimes a C negative. So there may be additional surviving versions of the movie that were made from alternate takes and so on, which also should be preserved. You could preserve, 6 different versions of the movie. For us, we preserve everything that we know exists. So tonight we're going to screen the Movietone version of Four Sons, which was the version of the movie that would have been seen in theaters originally in 1928 when it was released. The image is slightly cropped to accommodate that soundtrack, but this is the way that people would have seen it. In fact, the soundtrack is a reproduction of the original variable density soundtrack negative, which is also very interesting because that was the very first iteration of Movietone, and it was used for, almost a decade, I guess, before variable area came around.